that it's finally summertime here in the Midwest, that means you get a lot more pool parties and swimming nights and everything. But there has always been a common problem for me of whenever I want to bring in like a nice brisk iced tea and other beverages in the pool, I always kind of have to keep it on the floor of the porch with the risk of other people knocking it over or it getting spilt for whatever reason. And I just got back from fishing in Lake Erie for some walleye, and I came up with an idea by watching some of the things float in the water, and I am really hoping that this is going to work out, and I want to show you guys the idea that I am coming up with and a little bit of the 3D modeling that I'm doing, even though I'm very inexperienced with that. But without further ado, let's begin. I think we're going to start with just a flotation device, just to make sure I know how to do that. And I'm imagining it needs to be it needs to be very hollow in the middle. It can't just be a circle, because I think that would sink. So let's try, I think good enough. Okay.
I think we're good. Move the circle around. This one.
But unfortunately, that is still solid. So let's see if we can figure out how to... look at that! Looks like a macaroni now. Then I got the initial test. Let's print this thing and see if it floats, even. If it just sinks or barely floats, then it's not going to work. So let's go.
We are satellites, watching all the stars go by.
Yep, it's done. The first prototype of my floaty ring. Yeah, incredibly light, but unfortunately, really couldn't get the supports off very well. So maybe sanding it, but I'm also wondering if there's kind of a better way I can design it to where it's flatter on the bottom. But anyways, let's see if it floats. All right, let's set her off on our maiden voyage. Oh, look at that. It floats way above the halfway mark, which was what I was hoping for. We've proven it floats. Let's see if we can make ourselves our first functional prototype. Now I'm thinking of kind of a elevated cup holder of sorts to kind of help keep it more balanced, but not too tall, so it would be top heavy. So I'm thinking we're just going to elevate a hole that's slightly smaller than the internet says of a 66 millimeter diameter can, and see how that works. So the first thing I'm going to do is make the hole just in the middle in the flat and the even surface of the floating ring, and then once that is done, I'm going to move it up. But I guess first I can explain my very inefficient way of making a little cup holder. I have a extruded circle and another extruded circle that I set to cut through the first circle to make it a kind of a ring situation here. I figure I've always found that to be the easiest, at least make the most sense to me. But now that I have the ring done, I'm thinking about I'm going to move it up maybe 150 millimeters, because the internet said it was 122 millimeters tall. So I wanted to give it a little bit extra room in case someone wants to push their cup down further than they need to. Now, the next thing we have to do is figure out how we're actually going to connect the cup holder to the floating ring, and that's not something I have ever done before. So this is going to be an interesting challenge here, and I'm kind of thinking I started off by making 4 circles on the ring and kind of extrude them down at an angle. That was my original idea, which proved to not work very well. I actually just ended up drawing some simple lines from the cup holder down to the floating ring at the angle that I need, and then I just covered them with a pipe in the create section which worked pretty well, believe it or not, and it ended up looking much like this here, with 4 nice stable supports coming off of each quote-unquote corner. I know there's no corners in circles, but it's just easier words for me to say, and I hollowed out the center of where the cup should stay, and I'm quite happy with the way this prototype looks, so I say it's time to get this thing to print.
And I'm holding on to you, 'cause you're holding me real tight. If I had a choice, I would choose you every time. Yeah, I don't know how to breathe without you by my side. You know me well, you know that I can never leave your side like a wave.
Okay, now that it's done printing and in the water, it definitely is pretty much fully functional. I mean, it doesn't fall over. When you just push it, it will rock back and forth with the waves. However, it does not hold the cup very well yet, or cans for that matter. So I definitely have to widen that a little bit, but I got some ideas on how to fix that. And I got some other ideas that I'm excited about. I think I'll make it look even better, more aesthetically pleasing, so you speak. But with that being said, let's get to it.
Crashing till you're tired, like a mountain to a flame. That's how it is with you and I. Say to me, if you're the earth, then I'm your gravity, and I'm the oxygen that you need. And now I'm falling through the sky. Yeah, that's you and I. Yeah, that's you and
And I think I can call this complete. It looks so much better. I even got some identification rope going around each one that I can change the colors of. Whenever I print like another one, I can make a blue or red or black. But I am so happy with how this turns out. And I gave it enough room to hold a few different ones. To give this thing a test run and see how it works, but you know, only time will tell how it will work with lots of people. Well, it's been floating around my pool for a couple laps now, and it hasn't even come close to tipping over. I don't have a big wave machine, but giving it some pseudo waves here, it just kind of bobs back and forth, which is exactly what I was hoping it would do. So I think I'm going to call that a successful design. And thank you guys for watching so much. It was a great little difficult learning curve that I had to experience along the way, and hopefully you guys learned a little bit of something too. Hope you guys have a great day. I will see you next time.